What's up, YouTube? What's up? So I got to ask 83 Houston Cougars versus the 93 Michigan Wolverines college basketball championship teams. Which one is more disappointing that didn't win? Well, that's tough because Houston lost by a heartbreaker with NC State with Lorenzo Charles. I think I've done this video before, but I got to ask again. But I'm going to rephrase it because sometimes I'm going to do the remix. And of course, I love the Fab Five. That was my squad, and they lost to North Carolina. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I was working in a factory at the time, and I had a $20 bet with the supervisor. So I was pulling from Michigan and Carolina, and we had an office pool. So guess who I pulled out the hat? North to Michigan. So I was in a double win situation. If I win, I rack up big time. But I lost a $20 bet because Chris Webber called that no timeout, and he walked from half to cross the sea. Which why it's kind of surprising Houston lost the chip to Florida a few months ago. Why didn't you just pick the ball up and try to shoot and play it off? Because Weber got to walk like he was floating in water. Um, the team that probably should have won though, out of the two, just keeping it 100, who really probably should have was probably Houston. Because Fire Slammer Jammer. Now you asked me who was more electric to watch. Fire Slammer Jammer. Michigan was Fab Five, and I enjoyed those cats. They were great, and you were watching something special. But Fire Slammer Jammer, when you had Michael, Larry Mishaw and Michael Young, and you had King Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Reed Geddes, and Guy Lewis, all that. I still don't know how they didn't win. I understood the next year when they lost to Georgetown because Patrick Ewing got physical. They got beat by them. But that NC State game was crazy. And it just was like one of those, like, wow. But that's what made college basketball so much fun back then. Michigan losing to Duke and Carolina didn't quite feel as anticlimactic. I wanted them to beat both of them with a vengeance. But Duke was a lot more seasoned when they beat Michigan. They had gotten past UNLV, and Krzyzewski was in his apex. He was in his bag, and that's when Christian Laettner was balling out his mind. So that Duke team and Bobby Hurley and them, and when they beat Michigan, when North Carolina beat Michigan, teams had a more of a better blueprint. There was unpredictability really in the 80s. It really was. And that just mentioned how you kept games close. But I'd say Houston's loss to NC State was far more like wow, especially when you consider how electrifying Fire Slammer Jammer was.